What word drives you nuts when it's mispronounced? My mom always says specific instead of specific. Doesn't matter how many times I correct her. Coleslaw. I've heard cold slaw before, but my brother's ex used to say coleslaw. It bugged the shit out of me. It drives me insane when people pronounce frustrated as frustrated. I hear a lot of people calling the upcoming census a consensus. When people say espresso when they mean espresso, there's not a fucking B in supposedly. God damn it. It's a moot point, not a mute point. Also, supposedly is not a word. Supposedly. For all intensive purposes instead of for all intents and purposes. I have a coworker who thinks the word principle is principalities. It's just the principality of the matter. I cringe every single time. Library, not library. The head of median library in my school district is almost aggressive in her determination to pronounce it as library. Nuclear. Okay, it might actually be a proper way to say it somewhere. But when people say niche instead of niche for niche, come on man. If instead of have. I won't even give an example, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Realtor not realtor and text not Texas or Texas. Not a mispronunciation, but a misspelling I see a lot. Instead of typing should have, they type should've. Goddamn. Read a book. Edit. Way I worded it was weird. My 5-year-old daughter says gone when she should say went. I gone to the bathroom. Mom gone outside. It's went crystal. Went. Old timers instead of all-timers. My blood boils just thinking about it. When people say actually instead of actually. This one hits a special nerve because my name is Ashley and I always think they're addressing me. At first. Data. I'll sit back and let the internet decide which one I'm talking about. It's more phrase. I can't bear people saying I could care less to say they don't care. That's just not the expression, and if you put 2 seconds of thought into it you would realize that. Etc. bugs the hell out of me. Mischievous. Mischievous. There's no I in the VU. I once dated someone who pronounced balsamic like the dressing as Islamic. I couldn't convince him otherwise, and needless to say that relationship didn't last long. I thought the word tortoise was said twice until I was 20 and my ex was convinced I was retarded. When people say someone is asleep instead of someone is asleep. Chipotle when pronounced chipotle. The T comes before the L. Fuckers. Saying wash instead of wash. Just why? There's not even an R sound in there. Doesn't drive me nuts, but one of the hosts of this podcast will kill you always mispronounces Giardia as Gerardia and the other one always gives her shit for it. It's hilarious. My sister-in-law, and now her children, constantly get much and many mixed up no matter how much times I correct them. When people pronounce meme as meme, yes I pronounce it pasquiti. Is there another way? Quote, if you're in Arkansas pronouncing Arkansas might piss you off since I heard it's somewhat illegal to mispronounce the word. I know it's not a mispronunciation, but people who use literally instead of practically. It really bothers me. My husband calls the juice you get in a pouch Capri Sun. He hardens the A and puts the emphasis on the first syllable. Makes me want to smack him. So now he does it more to bother me. Also escape. Not an out loud pronunciation, but I'm betting if you write so cute, you mean me to hear so cute, but all I hear is so cute, which means you are wrong, and God I just hate this so fucking much. Phonetics are a thing. Coot or bust. Not one thing specifically, but I've known many guys over the years who had a running joke of mispronouncing a word. The ones off the top of my head was a guy who would pronounce scissors with a hard C sound, a guy who pronounced Sharpie, or a guy the first know who pronounced Big Bang Theory as watchable TV. I am sorry I have to. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. Realtor. It's not pronounced realtor. There's nothing between the L and the T. It's by accident, not on accident. Then equals then. For fuck's sake. Nuts. I'm tired of these fucking inbred hillbillies calling the newts. Grind me up some of them coffee newts. Blah. It isn't a mispronunciation, but there is no such thing as hot water heater, it's simply a water heater. Drawer. People saying asked instead of asked. Accoutrements, etc. etc. It's etc. Can I accuse you something? Drives me up the wall. That one. Without further ado. Not adieu. Not exactly mispronunciation, but when they say self-depreciating humor instead of self-deprecating humor. White. No, it's not, it's white. I don't see an H before the W in white. Diabetes! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. I hate when people say diabetes. Worcestershire. I bet half of you fucks stumbled over that word while reading this. If you pronounce Reese's Pieces as Reese's Pieces, I automatically want you out of the gene pool. Also, when people pronounce allele as allele, it's fucking milk, not milk. When people use underscore and I at the end of a sentence, which is incorrect. Sandwich instead sandwich drives me fucking nuts. Cache generally means a hiding place, pronounced cache. People say cache all the time. Library, supposedly. Across, when most people say across. So I was sat in the chair. No, it's I was sitting in the chair. Goddamn it. Caramel, not caramel. Caramel. Valentine's instead of Valentines. Why do people say Naruto when someone pronounces a German word wrong? I actually want to know the answer to this. Is it wheelbarrow or wheelbarrow? Cavalry is dudes with pointy sticks or shooty bangs on horses. Calvary is a hill in Jerusalem. Spanish poquito equals little, less amount, diminutive. When they go and say poquitico, just pisses me off proper if it can apply poquitio. I hear this at least once a day, usually from high-class Spanish speakers. I do not know why, but it does bothers me a lot. People tend to say my name is Sean or Cian, even though it's Sean. And as a kid, bullies would say my name is Sean, so that's why I snap when people say my name like that. Illinois, Pokemon, Chipotle, often. Anyone? Using them when you should be using those. Pass me them chips. Those chips. Those chips. When people say February instead of February. My old boss said irregardless constantly. It's not a word, Jen. Chorizo. Coordinates is awry. My partner reads a lot. As do I. We were discussing our favorite words. I said blasé and awry. He scrunched his face and said, "Do you mean Ari?" We still say Ari to each other all the freaking time, and it makes my cold heart melt. Jaguars pronounced as jaguars. I was in an argument with someone, and they kept saying, "That's a mute point." It was not. I always said ambulance as a kid and always pissed my family off. Whoa, it's an ambulance. Quote, cash is pronounced cash. Just because it has an E on the end, doesn't mean you have to throw on a French accent and pronounce it how you think they would or do. Cache is definitely not correct. When people pronounce mature like manure. Orangutan. Almost everyone I meet pronounces it orangutan. There is no G at the end of it. I work at a zoo and it's difficult to not correct every guest who mispronounces it. For me personally, I hate when people who work on ambulance can't pronounce it as ambulance. It's not ambulance. My wife hates when I don't pronounce Nissan as Nissan and Mario as Mario. She also hates when I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Portage. It's with a long A. My fucking name. You gave it to me, Mom, say it right. When Americans pronounce any word with two T's in the middle and make it sound like two D's. Better becomes better, etc. Makes me shudder. Maybe it's just me as I work at a craft store, but when people pronounce cricket as circuit,